You wanna, but I'll tell you this much. I bet you all you know they live longer than us, because only the good die at age 29. My philosophy was born in a New York state of mind, confined on the island with no moral support. To make a long story short, it's 8 million others in the city. You probably ain't got time for this one. You keep checking the shine on your wrist, son. Rush the platform, son, doors are closing when time's frozen. You don't wanna be late, part sharp for one last run. Who gets you open? I forever hold my token, stand post by the gate. Bum rush the platform, son, doors are closing when time's frozen. You don't wanna be late, part sharp for one last run. Who gets you open? I forever hold my token, stand post by the gate.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, they said nothing no more, but it seems the suckers teamed up to hold court. The 6-man providing relief for any starter count stacks by the quarter. We taking back the order. I swear upon the text to the revelation, the kings from Hollis, Queens learn to walk without strings. Easy on the cut, no mistakes allowed. Cause to me, MC means mentor the child. Step into the realm and you bound to get taught. Tell me, grand verbalizer, what time the lesson start? Sharpening my tips so my marks made heavy and dark. Indelible upon your skeletal parts. The apprentice to the mad scientist up in the lab. It's the art form. These scars were born under scabs. Evidence of life represented by the arm. The body returned to dust. The soul to the South Bronx.
For the last 500 years, been in a war to make sure that we never see 500 more. Now, I won't rest until my story been told. I won't rest until my story been told. I won't rest until my story been told. Said, I won't rest until my story been told. See, the wicked try to justify to keep what they stole. It eats at their souls, guess they reap what they sowed. Competing with your people for the love of the dough, but we know we own nothing, so we claim it for show. Who got the guns and the gold? Who left us out in the cold? White wilderness, I travel while in search of my own. It's why I'm flipping a poem like it was written in stone. It's for my children, seeking answers to the question of home. This ain't no neo-soul, even though it's subtle and slow. The political is personal, you suckers should know. It's why my body won't rest till my story been told. I won't rest until my story been told. Now, I wrote the scroll, flipped the script, broke the mold, but my people ain't free, we just out of parole. My collection of records is for my son when he's old. He'll appreciate the now when we call it the old. These Americans forgetting that they live on a globe, the same planet as those left abandoned in droves, kept in bondage in a chain of a creditor's loan. Money's like a b-boy stance, it stays froze. I prose what the world decomposed to show. The conditions that's depicted up in hustle and flow. From draft pick to casket, these soldiers come home. My craft spit the magic out the top of the dome. I'm walking alone, often get exhausted and blown. Only 6 feet separate the confident throne. These cavemen insist on calling my sisters a hoe. You ain't equipped to paint a picture on a city I roam. Around the circles on the back of Metropolitan Joe. Rejecting all your dogma, keep my karma in tow. Provolone chasing pipe dreaming people come home. The created could never pay the creator what they owe. Work until the bone cracks, overtime zones, push the nose to the paper nose to the grindstone. That I won't rest till my story been told. Said, I won't rest until my story been told. I wrote the scroll, flipped the script, broke the mold. One chapter closed, but another unfold. One chapter closed, but another unfolds. You gotta make noise if you're ready for the show. One, two. Woo, Town Hall. Are you feeling it? Seattle is hella filthy. And if you feel me, say filthy. Say hella filthy. Say hella filthy. Welcome to the Youth Speaks 2011 Grand Slam. Finally made it. Over 60 poets from all over the city, right here, narrowed down to 13. We'll be selecting 5 to represent the You Speak Seattle team that's gonna be going down to the Bay in July to represent our Brave New Voices for the annual, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I forgot. For those who don't know, my name is Gio, and I will be your host for the evening. So I'll be coming up. I will be, breaking there's a lot of tension in the room, man. And that's good. That's good and healthy because I think that energy is going to translate into a lot of, right here. People are going to be changing the world right here tonight, and you're going to be witnessing it. And it's a privilege and an honor to be your host tonight and to be witnessing what's going on. So, everybody know what a slam is? Raise your hand if you know what a slam is. Actually, no, raise your hand if you don't know what a slam is. I want to put people on blast. Just a few people. It's okay, because it's still being defined. It's not written in stone. It evolves. It changes. But as of right now, as of March 2011, a slam is a competition of poets who come up on stage and change the world in 210 seconds. So that's 3.5 minutes. That's all you get. Anything beyond that, you will be penalized for. Also, you are only allowed to use nothing but your voice and your body. No props allowed. So with that, that's all we need, right? That's all we need to change the world anyway. Is our bodies and our word, right? All right, so I would like to introduce all our judges for the evening. Judges, how you doing? If I can find, Hollis gave me a whole bunch of different papers, man. If I can find the judges one. There's the judges one. All right, so everybody, please make some noise for your judges. We have Sam New. Corvus Blackbird. Karen Finney-Frott. Luz Vaminda Uzuri Carpenter, AKA Lulu. And Jenny Sanchez Ballard. All right, so are you guys ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? Judges, you ready? All right, before we get into it, we're gonna have our sacrificial poet, the tradition that we have to open the evening. And to be the sacrificial poet to start off the night, can we add Theo? Make some noise for Theo!
Hormones. You will have to take hormones. Every day, a shot in the thigh, every day for the rest of your life. So you can have the letter changed on your ID. Not so people will respect you. See, people aren't going to laugh at you less or ask less questions. They aren't going to make a bigger effort to call you he, say his. No, they might just laugh more. See, you're a lot like Pinocchio. You know, the puppet who wanted to be a real boy, only there's no blue fairy coming down for you. In this case, you can wish on as many stars as you want to, but the only thing that matters is that box you have to check. That box that says it does matter who you are, but just so we can sort you. Do you have a dick? Hormones will give you that satisfaction of saying, yes, I do, and now you can validate my gender. See, the problem with this is, where do I come in? Is my gender a star that you get to wish on? Did Father Psychology call down the blue fairy to turn me into Grandfather Medicine's play toy? American psychology no longer considers genderqueer people to be mentally ill. Well, thanks a lot. I was real worried. But I still need a psychologist to prove I'm a man. To prove I'm a man, like this is middle school fist throwing, showing off my bruises, my scars. Like if my war stories can't tell you how big I am, I'll show you with my hands. My hands that have been up the shirts and skirts of more girls than you even know. Because I am none of these things. My confidence doesn't rely on notches on my bedposts. My war stories aren't filled with men I've bruised and women I've conquered. I am much more than that. I have conquered drug addictions and eating disorders, my fear of monsters in my closet, and my fear of my own sexuality. I do not need psychology to prove I'm a man, the same way I do not need magazines to tell me how thin I should be. I am much more than that. See, I am a pearl, and when you dredge me up from the bottom of the ocean, you will see layers and layers of beauty from people that love me. And that many more layers of beauty from people who would rather see me dead, and that is my blue fairy. See, unlike Pinocchio, I do not need anyone else to say I am a real boy for me to believe it. I do not need hormones. I need friends. I do not need acceptance. I need love.
Keep it going for Theo. Man, you guys gonna make my job easy tonight. So what you guys just did right then and there, actually throughout the poem with the cheering, the snaps, the claps, the sighs, all that. Just keep it going for every single poet that comes up on stage tonight. And when they're done, the exact same ovation that you gave Theo. Just keep it going. Keep encouraging all the folks that are going to be getting on stage tonight. Also, because it gives the judges a little bit of time to do their thing. Are y'all ready? A word of God.
We have a low score of a 6.0. Moving on up to a 7.5, an 8.3, an 8.9, and a 9.1.
Give it up. You're a seasoned crowd. Everything that you're doing, that you've been doing, just keep it going for the rest of the night. And we're gonna have a good night. So on deck, real quick, Nicola's on deck. Before we get started, I'm gonna let you guys breathe. Everybody breathe, not just the people who's gonna be performing, but everybody. Everybody breathe in. Exhale. All right. Shout out, everybody give it up for the DJ Leopold Bloom. Shout out to Arts Corps, sponsoring the night. And one more time for yourselves. Can we get started? Seattle, can we get started? Let's do it. Everybody, please give a round of applause for Nicole. Isabel, you are on deck.
You know what? Bill O'Reilly, Pat Robertson, Glenn Beck? I admit it. I chose to be gay. Who wouldn't? Torn apart by gender roles, sloppily sculpted by the tyranny of the majority, a clumsy, overgeneralizing hand molding steep canyons between society's conceptions of right, wrong, and normal. Girl, boy, and no exceptions between, even as I innately bridged those gaps at the age of 4, thinking of myself as a wife to the other mommy when we played house in preschool, when my jaw dropped as the prettiest girl in my kindergarten class walked into the room for the first time. Other first graders asked, Nicole, why do you dress like a boy? Gee, maybe I'm just dressing like myself. I chose to feel conflicted and guilty when I went shopping with Mom, and if she misinterpreted my loathing for every displayed skirt, frilly shirts, and bell-bottom pants, for the negligence of a spoiled brat, my childhood's inner dichotomous conflict was painted down the aisles of Macy's. The boys section, strokes of adventurous khaki cargo pants, dark blue baseball caps, and forest green button-downs. The girls section, shades of pink, pinkety pink. I wish I could have articulated this viewpoint to my mother back then, how I didn't appreciate what pink stood for. See, pink is just a color, not a shade of femininity. Why can only tough guys wear pink? Why must girly girls have to wear pink? Why can't people just choose to wear pink? The only things I ever liked about the girls section were the girls. I chose to sit and lean against my bed at 3 a.m. because what's the point in laying in bed when you won't even be sleeping? Drowning myself in the highest volume that my iPod could take me, music through my headphones, megaphone shields deflecting the deafening silence so I could hear the closet of truth express itself inside of me, pounding the door of secrets to the baseline, quivering within my lost body, screaming to me in a euphonic, cacophonous sort of melancholy wannabe lullaby. I chose to deafen myself in order to fill the silence. And that night, when my parents finally yanked me out of the closet, I chose to watch my mother leave the room and fall to the floor in shame, not sleeping that whole night, clutching the creamy orange gown I'd worn like a princess at my 18th birthday debutante, as if squeezing the dress harder would revive the feminine part of me. I chose to have her confess that she had never seen my father cry so hard in his life, gasping, "My perfect daughter, my perfect daughter." An inarticulate elegy for the death of his perfect daughter, because it didn't matter that I was a valedictorian, a 4.0 student who didn't drink or do drugs. I chose to be punished for doing nothing wrong. I chose to lie for 18 years in order to protect my family. I chose to watch bigots strike down other LGBT kids in ignorant, condescending glances. I chose to learn from a girl through my cowardice that you cannot hear whispers of "I love you" when you are on opposite sides of the closet door. Apparently, I chose this. So thank you, moral experts, for taking the high road. I apologize on behalf of all of us who have ever lived in the closet for taking the easy way out.
Keep it going for Nicole. Isabel, you're on deck. Oh, I forgot to introduce the voice, or the voices of God. Damon and Chris, give it up. The voice of God, are you ready?
We have a low score of a 7.0. We have a 7.8, an 8.3, an 8.6, and an 8.9.
One more time for Nicole, y'all. Coming up next to the stage, Devin, you are on deck, but right now, give it up for Isabel.
Over the I-5 bridge, I see the world rushing out from beneath my feet like an ocean, and I think that this is what an eternity looks like. I fell in love with her as the sun melted into the horizon and the days slowly grew longer. She eats strawberries the whole year round because they remind her of the way the sun hits the sky with a splashing, crushing madness like a fire-filled inferno slipping down into the cracks between the mountains. Her fingers curled around mine, the way that ferns wrap around themselves in the winter, slowly learning to unfurl as the summer moves on. She pulled my fingers out of the tight ferns they had been, and she laid them softly around her own. I learned the meanings of the words fragility, futility, and other F words I hadn't known were so tangible until just then. The concrete over the bridge is cracked and mutilated as if by the fist of a giant, moving his arms down swiftly in protest, calling out to the cars below, "Please stop." The movement is too much, the blowing and rushing, the wind that heaves up onto the bridge when the truck's moving too quickly below, just barely grazing the ground beneath me, testing the limits of the sky like young birds. Make it stop. I empathize with the urge for a sedentary world that holds you like quicksand, solid and stationary. I want a world I can drown in. So I hold my hands tightly on the edge of the bridge and I gaze over, thinking that to jump would be an adventure, an exercise in finding the bottom of everything. She peeled my hands off that rail and let my fingers extend in the sun like the petals on a tulip. I bloomed as I found myself around her. She's just so graceful, a leaf fluttering down from the periphery of my vision and into the sunlight. Her skin is the combination of milk and honey and softness like a doll. She's just so damn fragile. Crashing down, the summer ended abruptly, and she wrapped her body back around itself, curled my fingers back into my palm. Volvemos. And as the summer slowly turned to fall, I learned to do the more dangerous things. I kept the pack of Camels in the edge of my rearview mirror as we barreled down the highway, and never below 80, and always in my mother's car. You know, it's almost like flying once you're going fast enough. And I saw a man jump off the edge of that bridge. No, man is the wrong word. He barely had his beard coming in. His shoes were like boats at the bottom of stick legs, too long and thin and not grown into yet. He couldn't quite fill out the clothes that were draped over a thin flame, but those dissipated into the traffic that he stopped. And the world mourned that day, and I mourned with the world, remembering the freedom that it was to find the summer on those last bits of pavement that his eyes ever saw. I wish I could have left them with the seeds of summer scattered on the edges. Maybe she could have unfurled his fingers too. And so it's over the I-5 bridge that I think that this, right here, this is what saved me, to learn what eternity looks like.
Keep the love going for Isabel. Devin, you are on deck. Judges, what it look like?
We have a low score of a 7.5. On up to a 7.7, an 8.5, a 9.1, and a 9.4.
One more time for Isabel. Dante, you are on deck right now. Please give a warm welcome for Devin.
Our country's past weeps like the heartbroken trees that men, women, and children were hung from. Our country's past bleeds like the blister-covered feet from the trails of tears Native Americans were forced to walk on. It speaks in forgotten accents from when residential schools tried to bleach their skin white. It sings internment camp lullabies and screams like a Guantanamo Bay witch hunt. Our country's past shines like the stars on our flag sewn by cotton-covered hands. I can still smell the smoke of the burning crosses, Harlem warfare, and Los Angeles riots. The events in our history are so heavy that our timeline dips like a scoliosis spine. And over time, as we developed into the country we came to be, the legacy left behind is subtle in our speech like accents in sign language. It lives in TV screens. It lives in hollow bodies, created by hollow tips, launched from hollow barrels, feasts off self-destruction, breeze crack production, and continues to function through government corruption. Products of our past, We are wrapped in our skin like a label, trained to generalize since we're able to turn on the television, and through repetition conditioned to see race-based vision in a system where the victims are imprisoned for using the means they were given. Caught in a vicious cycle, a hurricane spiral, for everything has been recycled, from stardust to history. And if you are listening, ghost dance drum beats and shackled slave songs contain more lessons than a textbook. For the Underground Railroad lies beneath our skin. If we peeled back our painted canvas, the blood and flesh that lies within would dismiss the myth that more than one race exists. For we are the only race, and we are the human race. And when the masses group together, our synchronized heartbeats pump thunder that drowns the loudest of fire hose war cries. Our roots go as deep as slave ships' cemeteries. When connecting as chain link shackles, we can fly like the Jim Crow never could, so we must redline the ways of the past and invest in the best direction for our future. For real change isn't voting once every 4 years. And real change isn't what you throw in the case of a saxophone as it emanates the message of this poem. See, real change is sold by the men and women who need it most, shivering on Seattle street corners. And real change is a community center being built in a place where a kid walks out the front door and for the next 24 his mission is to get home safe. Real change is a father figure. Real change is a role model to help our young men digest the issues on their plate, because these days that's a lot to swallow. Real change is telling our daughters that they are gifted before we tell them that they are beautiful. Real change comes from real teachers, truth seekers, and youth leaders. One step at a time. Progress is the key to our coffin, because we've been locked in society's winter with no pollen to blossom. So strong like a police baton, my fist is to the sky because I'm ready to live a legacy worth leaving behind.
Keep the love going. Devin. Henry, you're on deck. Judges.
We have a low score of an 8.0. We have an 8.4, a 9.1, a 9.2, and a 9.4.
That's what's up, Devin. Raven, you're on deck. Everybody make some noise for Henry.
Can you define a smile? Your mouth kicks like a tree trunk's rings when gust sings and crust bark brings a marble symphony. We are made of marble. Columns of brisk light whisked by music, and our mouths open up to God. Your lips become the two clasped hands of prayer for finger and string, preaching the expelled gospels we sing. I can hear the music of your eyes dance with each cheek and weaken its dust from a quiet plea onto a distant mausoleum of echo, and it does not stop. It will keep echoing because you smile, and it's a first-class ticket to an angel's forearm. I want to feel the blood of melodic oceans crashing backwards with rapture as strong as shining bullets. My gums become guns, and gum walls are risen to bliss. And when these gums are raised, these guns get raised, and suns get praised when suns get raised to suns. And to some, seasons change when suns see change in angels, in glistening, whistling, then christening angels. So winged euphoria. Endorse endorphins to end orphan struggles of your eyes, and let the cusped window of your mouth bend, because your smile is a mirror with dents and echoes. A choir in a portrait is a captivating sound, and I can't see these teeth, but you can. Can you feel them? Can you feel the electricity outlet into your structure until you are my eyes? Can you define a smile? And if your smile is a song and laughter a choir, can you smile the way that you were meant to? Mausoleum and all, echoes igniting, machine guns firing, and wings flying. You are powerful beyond measure. So if you ever do, smile like you were the choir. Smile like you were that swim trunk Little League ball player building his first sandcastle. Smile like you were flying a kite for the first time. Smile like you just got your first pair of pants. And smile like your mom just stitched your first and your last name onto the back of your whitey-tighty underpants. And smile like you just threw that underwear away and you've graduated right on in to Superman boxers. Smile like you were a kid thinking about being older and an adult thinking about God. Smile like you were the first kid in your neighborhood to find that secret hideout and you just posted a great big sign, big as your eyes, on the front door that reads, "No girls allowed." Smile like you just learned the ukulele and the streets are empty and all you want to do is rock out to the sky and smile like it is summer. And all you think about is flipping oceans upside down just so it rains a little bit more. Smile like you are falling in love and all you see are the colors and sounds of her eyes. Smile like she has laughter. Smile like she has heart. Smile like you have not forgotten her. Will never forget how to remember. Smile like you are the definition of rhapsody and heart is all that you've got. Smile like you are winter and smile like you are summer and smile like your smile matters because it does. So turn your rainbows upside down. Let that smiling spectrum echo across your face.
Now's Henry. If you love him, let him know. Judges.
We have a low score of a 7.0. We have a 7.9, an 8.0, a 9.0, and a 9.4.
All right, you're gonna have to forgive me. Oh, first of all, make some noise for that. In my excitement earlier, I actually went down the list. I hopped down one of the lists. So now, Raven, you are on deck. And now, I want everybody to make some noise for Dante.
Your whisper is Lucifer. You whisper to me all these sweet nothings because you know what I like to hear. See, you did know a lot about me. Because I was never scared to share, but you kept your heart a secret. You only half loved me. You always listened. Your whisper is Lucifer. You whisper in my ears, I want you, and I fall head over heels for you, or heels behind ears for you, or just back in love for you, or just back in lust with you, and sometimes my naive young heart would get it mixed up. But you kept me dangling, a puppeteer pulling at my heartstrings, only keeping me close when you needed to get off. Your whisper is Lucifer. Your silhouette is hell, and your fire is love. It burns, it never builds bridges, just sets them ablaze, and if you didn't want to build a bridge to connect your heart to mine, then why did you give me the tools? Your whisper is Lucifer. I thought you wanted love, but you just wanted something to play with, and you found it. You found your 6-foot-tall, brown-skinned Dante Johnson action figure that lives just far enough that when you borrowed it from my parents, that you could have all the luxuries of having a boyfriend and none of the responsibilities, so that you could play pretend and acted like you really loved me, and that you could play hide-and-go-seek with my love. I left it in an obvious place so you could find it. But you never came looking. And when it was my turn to count, you left before I even finished. And when I came calling you back into my arms like Ollie Oxenfree, you gave me excuses of, I'm too busy and I have to work, which actually turned out to be nothing but lies and you trying to escape. I didn't know my love was so hazardous. Your whisper is Lucifer, and you whispered to me that you wanted to get back together. Your whisper is Lucifer, but I don't fear you or your whisper because I can scream. Your whisper can't beat my voice, my breath, my love, my energy. Your whisper may be Lucifer, but it can't match Dante's Inferno, and I will take you through 7 stages of hell before I let you play with this 6-foot-tall action figure's heart again. Your whisper may be Lucifer, but my voice, my breath is God. Thank you.
Dante. Let's hear it from the voice.
And we have an 8.0. Some of the judges didn't know what to do with Dante's Inferno. We also have an 8.6, an 8.8, a 9, and a 9.2.
One more time for Dante. Noah, you're on deck. Everybody, please make some noise for Raven.
My stretch marks were supposed to be my battle scars. They were supposed to be highly unnoticeable and only show proof that I have grown and developed. But instead, they just show that my curves are getting deeper and that I don't fit into those size 6 jeans, fit in to any of those lacy dresses that would hug my curves, fit in. Those are the 2 words that I whisper quietly to my body when I'm caged inside dressing rooms, conversing with my hips as if they could speak back to me, asking questions like, why couldn't you be smaller and a little less thick? And I really like these jeans, so why won't you just fit into them? See, my stretch marks were supposed to be my battle scars, but they just turned into landmarks of my womanhood, and maybe that's a little bit better than battle scars, but I guess I just don't see it that way. For some reason, I just can't conquer my curves, so I stand in front of dressing room mirrors and tell myself that I'm beautiful, desperately trying to wipe all negative comments away from my mouth like cheap lipstick. And as I stand in front of those dressing room mirrors, I imagine what it would be like to unzip my skin and walk freely into the outside air, cold breezes touching nothing but the bare bones that I am made of. I spend a lot of time walking outside of myself, afraid to let my body hold me, sensitive and fragile. I feel scared even when I'm wrapped up in my own arms. If my stretch marks were supposed to be my battle scars, then maybe my body was the actual battlefield, and my fingertips were the restless soldiers poking and prodding at every one of my imperfections, buttoning and fastening jeans with discomfort. I sometimes speak the language of insecurity with my cosmopolitan magazines, sliding my hands across its useless pages of advice, thinking to myself that I do not have to be this way. Shaming my body so blatantly, opening fresh wounds and tearing out pieces of my dignity and letting them go away with time, so it's like my self-worth never even existed. I guess I never realized how much I've hurt myself, not appreciating the skin that I was put in and silencing the stories that have been intertwined with my hips for some time now. I guess I never realized how beautiful I was. And as the days go by, I tend to the many bruises that I have given myself, and I close up those wounds that have been open for everyone to see. My stretch marks are my battle scars, and there is one mark for every time that I forgot to love myself. I guess I never realized how delicate I was. I'm good at being broken. It's the healing that's hard.
Raven, everybody. All right, judges. What do we got?
The judges really like that one. 9.2, a 9.5, 9.6, a 10, and a 10.
Raven. All right, Queen, get ready. You're on deck right now. Please make some noise for Noah.
We traded virginities like kindergarten lunchbox items. I gave you my PB&J for your snack pack pudding. I guess I always got the sweeter end of things. We were careless and unschooled in the weight of consequences, heavy. Years later, my body still has some letting go to do. I still find myself pulling out the pieces of innocence you left inside of me. I clean best with music blaring, so I've been playing your old voice messages on repeat. Dusting my lungs of the screams that died there, they held too tightly when my throat was scratching for them in those unfamiliar bedrooms. I've been turning up my stomach, spitting up gravity just to be light enough to hear that this wasn't my fault, but I'm still heavy with the thought of you. I heard you started playing with fire, toying with the boundaries of no, of how hard you can push before she breaks, or the echoes of her voice get too loud for your conscience. I've seen the way you butcher bodies like your fingers were always meant to pry things open. You coaxed me out of adolescence with dry lips and no eye contact, taught me never to tattoo my lover's expiration date to the inside of my wrist. That's why 4 years later, when you knocked on my door, I answered, but now the closest we'll ever be to feeling is touching, is your hand wrapped around the back of my throat, the backtrack of empty moans played back on your computer screen. We can mimic your favorite pornography. Was it me that made you resent women so thoroughly? That made your fingers mirror my ribs and hold tightly until my lungs could only sigh at your touch? Boy, you are breathtaking. Your palms have been cradling my air supply for too many years now. You love like a thunderstorm. And whoever said lightning never strikes the same place twice must have never met you. I've got the scars to prove it. Bruises in the shape of your fingerprints. Our identities are intertwined. I want to break into the dark room of your mind and develop the snapshot memories you've saved of me. I want them overexposed and gritty. See me for what I am. I am not just a cemetery for you to bury your resentment in. I am human and imperfect at best. I want to see you for all that you are and all you ever hope to be. Sing me into unconsciousness and tell me, how many lullabies does it take to make a dirty girl sleep? I'm sorry I never realized I could count every hair on your chin on one hand, that we were still children. That I never cared enough to trace each freckle on your cheek, that you didn't know to kiss each curve of my body, to spell out beautiful with your teeth. Darling, we taught each other how to be grown up, but we will never grow any older together. So I'm sorry I never answer your calls anymore. But when I hear your voice, I check for bruises out of habit.
Noah! VOG. Tell us what it be.
We have a low score of an 8.3. We also have a 9, a 9, a 9.7, and a 10.
That's what's up. All right. Hold up. Where'd I put this in? Oh, no, I memorized it by now. Okay. We're at the halfway point. So please, one more round of applause for Noah and everybody who's been up so far. That energy level, you got to keep it going, everybody. Sam, you're on deck. Everybody, make some noise, put it together for Quinn.
Today, I put on a pair of skinny jeans, a binder and tight-fitting t-shirt, and looked in the mirror. And I felt good. With my flatter-than-usual chest and the socks stuffed into my boxers, I totally could have passed for a gay boy. I thought about how I might look with some facial hair. Maybe I should dress like this more often. But after a couple of minutes, I start to feel the binder digging into my skin, my belly fat pushing out at the edges. I struggle to breathe against the tight compression shirt. I think about my body and the times I've spent crying, pounding walls with fists and feet, trying to punish it with the pain I've been feeling inside. But the truth is, I love my body. I love it in a way most people wouldn't understand, because trans people, we're warriors, and we use the wisdom we learned from the struggle to heal ourselves and our communities. So again, I take off gender like the social constructs I've broken down over the years, fold it up, and put it back in my dresser drawer. I pick up my worn overalls from the floor, put on my Clash t-shirt and bear necklace, and look in the mirror. I see a boyish trans fag with a trickster's grin. I see farmer ancestors looking back with pride. I see a tough punk glaring in defiance and a quiet kid gathering wisdom. I feel comfortable. I feel powerful. And I hope that tomorrow I'll remember this feeling.
Give it up for Quinn. And the voice of God says,
we have a low score of a 7.5. On up to an 8.5, an 8.6, a 9.1, and a 9.1.
Give it up for Quinn. Gibson, you are on deck. Everybody make some noise for Sam.
Speaking English in quotation as well.
Welcome to the Center for Veterans of Forgotten Wars. We heard you knocking on our double doors, and the concrete floors echoed the footsteps of a prospective new member. We're the other branch of the Army, and we're a little short on staff here. Our attempts to recruit seem to fall on deaf ears, and as long as this war is fought with a call on volunteers, we may well be boned. You see, we represent the other side of war, the kind you won't find in a magazine or Kid Rock song. Army strong, you and your empty, jingoistic buddies can go fuck yourselves. This is personal. War is personal, and you and I both send our men to the same place, but at least I have the decency to be upfront about it. I'm sorry to talk in front of you about it, but I might as well be open. I know you were hoping to be a pilot or technical secretary, but if we can get you on the front lines by February, we may as well utilize the body you volunteered to us. But heed this warning from us, war is thus hell, and you will not come back the same. You will be irrevocably changed. We will invent for you a new psychology of sir, yes, sirs, and only following orders. The chain of command is not a ladder, it is a shackle. So we'll get you equipped with guns and clips and send you off to fight for what exactly? Never mind the motive. Our objective is to win the war, and we win the war by completing the objective. It's recursive, I know, but just sign in cursive along the dotted line and we'll be good to go. But remember, war is hell, and you will come back changed. The official name is post-traumatic stress disorder, but disorder implies something abnormal, and not knowing how to cope with your buddies being blown to bits can only be described as natural. You're in the back of a Humvee speeding fast down Iraqi streets when the blast of a makeshift roadside IED chokes the air with dust, and the car in front of you disappears. You pull out your weapon. You get out to assess the damage. When shots pop off, you pop to the ground, heart beating like a first kiss, pounding like a drum, slowly bursting your chest. One man's up, frantic, searching for cover. A bullet goes in one ear, never leaves the other, but the only thing in your ear is ringing, and you cover your head to block out the sound, but it's already inside you like a dirtied ocean, and it never quite leaves you. And the monkey you carry on your back made a woman a widow. So I understand if you don't want to sign with us. Go to the other guys. Be all that you can be, but remember that we both send our men to the same place, and you will not come back the same.
Give it up for Sam. Judges, what's the math?
We have a low score of an 8, an 8, an 8.7, an 8.8, and a 9.7.
One more time for Sam. Moni, you are on deck. And right now, everybody make some noise for Gibson.
A few friends drifted home from far-off places with a great migration of dust. They smelled of drugs, their own stagnant enlightenment hanging like musty rags off their faded clothes. They told me, Gibson, once you graduate high school, a whole new world of drugs opens up to you. And I see this world opening up already like a bomb, exploding like nuclear cups of coffee, screaming at me like an exit sign, shining with the promise of new and far away. And I want to go back to Virgin America so I can drown in the unexplored, only to be lifted up by a mountaintop and bathe in the spirit of the West. I am looking for an exit sign to wonder, a lifeline to take me up and out, and the dust murmurs, Gibson, once you graduate high school, a whole new world of drugs opens up to you. And I see this world burning like a dragon, and I'm getting lost in her amber eyes. She asks me if I want to go for a ride, and I tell her I don't know, because I am looking for an exit sign to wonder, but I'm not sure I want to be turned to dust, like my playground brothers, the ones who once made their wings out of love, but who now make them out of blunt papers ready to be burned. Drop-kick themselves to the back alleys of their minds, where spreading clipped wings means you can really fly, but drugs don't really give them wings, nor the will to jump. Drugs cannot pretend to be what only life has the power of accomplishing, but I am a baby-minded child, trying to crawl out into my own dreams at night, so I hop on anyways, and ride the marijuana dragon, expecting to really fly. And while I do so, I am burning my dreams slowly at both ends, sinking slowly into the crevices of musty car seats, trying to skin myself with dull knives, but until I sharpen sharpen these blades with the iron of my own spirit. I will never be able to break deeper than the surface of myself. Never see the gleam of my beautifully naked and unexposed flesh and all that makes me so wonderfully human. But straight to the lungs, they say, and you'll believe. Here is a blunt straight to the face. Take it and be set free. Break your shackles. Harness the unreality and make it yours. Hear that dubstep, that two-step, that three-peat on bump, that beat mix. It's so fire. It's so fly. I am too fucking high, dude. So high. My mind just dropped through the holes in the sky. Caught, flailing and spinning through the holes I've burned in my mind. We were children once. All of us. Running down sunsets with soccer balls, screaming at the world to open up and let us all in. But the children have been murdered by our adolescence, by our need to grow up a little too fast, by our need to drown ourselves in false escapes and hallucinogenic trapdoors. And while we waste our lives away, our poor, once upon a selves scream at us, stomping and screaming, reminding us to stop torturing them, begging for us not to dig the knives in any deeper. But we tune out their love and brush them off our laps with the ashes, where they fade into the forgotten attics of our memories, and we store them in boxes marked trash, right next to the box filled with all of our dreams. And they just shake their heads and call us stupid. And we are stupid. Shake our heads up, kids. Shake them up until there's nothing left, until we know we're wrong, until we realize there are only so many brain cells that we can kill. Life was once an escape too, and we once knew that, but we've smoked out our childhoods and grown out of our own imaginations. Hold on, kid. Don't give up on me. I know I'm far from perfect, but I'm trying real hard. I'm trying real hard to open up that car door and let the air in, to reach my hands and hold on to you once again, because I don't want to ever forget you. Hold on, kid, because I'm coming. I'm going on a trip, but I'll be back real soon.
That was Gibson. Judges.
We have a low score of an 8.3, an 8.3, an 8.5, a 9.0, and a 9.6.
One more time for Gibson. Troy, you are on deck. And right now, Town Hall, make some noise for Moni.
I became witness to your beautiful struggle. I completely allowed myself to become submerged in the crevices of the cracks on your sidewalk. Now I am bound by becoming a prisoner of your work. Sucked me in with those structures, those monumental works of history. Spit me back out, leaving blisters on my soul, bittersweet memories. Like remembering forgotten children. Those faces that never should have been erased when new ones moved in. Your resistance and resiliency, I am finding freedom. When your existence to some is just a burrow. I've seen daffodils grow in a concrete jungle, and I've seen black bodies hanging on the limbs of cement stoops. They say it's different everywhere. Like the difference in climate is supposed to change the way these institutions react to us because we're brown. No, it's all the same everywhere. Black bodies, different faces hanging. From Seattle to Oakland to LA to Brooklyn, black bodies, different faces hanging. These bodies have pulses, heartbeats like you, like I, and some of their stories have never been spoken nor written. Forgotten children hanging, nameless. I detached the ropes from my neck myself. It was like pulling shards of glass from my esophagus. This blood will never leave my hands. I vowed to keep running until the bruises weren't visible anymore, and I'm still running. It becomes more difficult of a fight when I have baseball bats at the back of my knees with every attempt at a stride I tried to make. They want me to roll over, to die without screaming. I did not set myself free to be silenced. I am not strange fruit for them to pick at their convenience. If they catch me, I will go singing songs of freedom that you taught me. And if they kill me, mark me as a martyr in history. Never let my name be forgotten like those children. Tell my testimony and set yourself free. Drape my words on cement stoops and allow for them to be picked. Be witness to my beautiful struggle. Ashe.
One more time for Moni. Judges.
We have a 9.0, a 9.0, a 9.1, a 9.3, and a 9.7.
One more time for Moni. Henry, you are on deck. We got 2 more to go in this first round, y'all. So real quick, let's all breathe one more time. In, out. Y'all ready to keep it going? Yeah. All right, let's do it. Henry on deck. Troy, everybody make some noise for Troy.
For kids whose only gameplay consists of Nintendo 64 Mario Kart, Game Boy Pokemon, blue, red, or yellow version, depending on whether they wanted Ninetales from blue, and Arcanine from red, or to start out with Pikachu from yellow, and first-person shooter Xbox games. Let's utilize our innocent insides like Master Chief. I want to talk to her. That Princess Peach, whose arched back reminds me of Rainbow Road, the way her eyes beam brighter than glowing mushrooms. I'll walk up to her. The girl in my second period history class I have noticed for over a year, who glides across the room like a thrown Pokeball, orbiting ancient stadiums for the last gym badge of the Ultimate League in my favorite season, and I'll finally say, hello. Has anyone ever told you that you have a battle rifle spirit bursting smiles between the seams of your lips, stretching across your cheeks like plasma grenades? You're full of color. An explosion of charged energy. You electrically conduct my body with an array of laughter, rumbling my stomach like rolling warthogs, a beautiful weapon that wipes grins against my face like shotgun melees, a legend among Spartans and of any other girl I have ever witnessed in this wartime galaxy of a planet we call home. I bet that you are a commander-in-chief in having fun. Could conquer every epitaph and isolation level that has ever existed and be the best co-pilot a co-op player has ever gamed with. I imagine your touch as strong, especially when wrapped around your bubble shield hugs, the same way I trust you are sincere and would never throw a good gadget without meaning it. It's been about a year since I have first noticed you. And you are still as angelic as a halo since the first day I saw you. Glowing like an energy sword, you light up this side of the galaxy like a round of carbine. No gravity hammer could ever hold your battle rifle spirit earthbound. And then I'll ask her out to dinner. Or even to come to the crib and play my video games, something I have never had the super soldier muscles to do for any girl. I have always hidden beneath the breath of my own shyness, under with a shaking handgun. But today, I'll bend her mouth like light and make her see that my innocent inside shine brighter than any other boy in this game, can bathe her heavens in an ocean of laughing bullets and make her sunrise. And she'll reply, I've been waiting all year to hear this.
That was Troy. All right, judges, let's hear it.
We have a lot of judges in agreement here. We have a 9.1 as the low score, on up to a 9.7, a 9.8, a 10, and a 10.
Almost time for Troy. Woo! All right. Closing out round number 1. Everybody, make some noise for Harry.
Manhood is miles of muscle and arm wrestling contests. Manhood is aggression like furrowed brows and the contracted pupils of a winner. Manhood is never cooking dinner. Manhood is humble in that grave and not until. Manhood is opus in the magnum caliber, extra bullet egos it's made of. Manhood is oblong paychecks and bringing home that bacon. And frying the bacon, and eating the bacon, and talking about eating the bacon. Manhood is no one can hold me down, nobody knows me, no, don't touch me. Manhood is the years it's been since the last time he cried. Manhood is pushing the tears back to where they belong, inside. Manhood is rough hands, noose knot lynching and wagging circles to protect the women and children from the other. Manhood is never being wrong. Like the original alpha male's holy mandate, manhood is an iron handshake. But these commandments are carved deeper than stone tablets, and I've broken many lines of unspoken covenant. See, my skin is soft, and I have no enemies, I be anemones. I learned more from powerful women alive in Seattle than Aristotle or George Washington ever taught me. I learned my gift is this gentle touch. And some said that I'm cute, like a small, furry animal. That could sting a masculinity complex, but lucky I lose mine when I whistle words of power over hallowed stages with the other woodland creatures. On the other hand, I know kids who keep their manhoods loaded and oiled like syringes in their holsters, always ready to penetrate. They think they know what power is, but all they got is repressed emotions, vacuum-packed in silence, and that stuff kills slowly. Now, I never had to grow hard young by the heat of a life without second chances. I never had to man up to survive. And I am grateful, but that could have been me. Those could be my muscles, my manhood overdose. I could have grown into the body of a man who only learned abbreviated boyhood, capitalized with first blows, punctuated with last breaths. They taught him the dialect of silence. They taught him the correct pronunciation of words like bitch, pussy. He knows the smallest thing he can call a man is a woman. And the smallest thing he can call a woman is herself. Maybe I'll meet him someday, and we'll show each other our fresh wounds, our trigger fingers, our soft places. We will speak of the unspoken covenant and carry our voices into the silent places, offering these words like water. We do not need to be this way. We do not need to be this way. You might not realize how thirsty you are.
Give it up for Henry. Woo! All right. And the last set of numbers are.
Oh, one of the judges went and messed it up with a 9.2. And then we have a 9.9. We have a 10, a 10, and a 10.
Henry, man. Woo, all right. That was round one, man. And, man, that was difficult for me because I had to come up here and be as objective as I can for each individual performance. But now that the whole entire round is done, finally I can let it out and say, God damn. Woo. Give it up for every single poet who graced the first round. Yes, yes. And again, that energy, I told you, see? We hear you. So see that tension that was in the room earlier, it's turned into love now. So we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna have a 10-minute break, but first, we're gonna have a special performance. Is that cool? Everybody make some noise for this group of cats, mentored by members of the Massive Monkeys, the Vicious Puppies, y'all.
Hi guys, is this on? Can you guys hear me? How about now? Oh, I can hear myself. All right, guys. My name is Sammy, and I'm with the group, the Vicious Puppies, +1. But yeah, we're just here to perform for you guys. Hopefully you guys like our stuff. And at the end, we will be asking a couple of people to come up and show us what you got. Because, I mean, it ain't just about us. It's about everybody watching, you know? So you guys could be a Vicious Puppy for today, for about 30 seconds. Hope you guys like it.